everybody. Hashtag Crazy Cat here from the podcast. Super excited to be with my Brainiac friend who knows everything about everything.
No. Good morning, Kat. Hi, Nicole Conner here. Hashtag Nourish. And I'm super excited to be on this call at Fun Fact Friday once again. And we're excited. We're having just this great discussion about not only a new product that our company is coming out with, but kind of some misnomers, a little bit of understanding, a little clarification. We've had some people asking about whether or not they're going to test positive for THC because the product has this minuscule amount of THC in it. And so let's talk about what that looks like.
Sounds awesome. So we were just talking, and I did not know this, but cannabis is actually a family of trees, right? And hemp is one piece of that. So can you kind of explain it? Because I was not aware until you explained this to me.
So I'm going to use a really great example that our Zizia family will understand, and that is the moringa tree. Moringa has 53 different species of it. So moringa is a family of trees, right? So I might have that backwards, but nevertheless, the moringa tree has several species. The one we use is Moringa oleifera. Okay, so Moringa oleifera, all by itself, if you were to only use just the leaves, let's say, forget about the fruits and the seeds. Let's put those aside. We're going to use those as different parts of the tree. So Moringa oleifera leaves have all these wonderful benefits to it, right?
Yep.
It has all these vitamins and protein, and it's really great all by itself. So if you go shade dry that, crush it up, put it in a drink, put it on your salad, however you're going to get all these wonderful health benefits, right? Right. So our company realized that Moringa oleifera being the most nutrient dense, that not only do the leaves have all this awesomeness, but the seeds and the fruit do too.
Okay.
Full spectrum of the Moringa oleifera tree that is safe to consume, our company puts together to create this amazing full spectrum of nutrients, omegas, proteins, amino acids, right? So we have this amazing product because we use this whole part of the tree that's usable, right? For consumption anyway.
Yes.
Now there's other types of moringa grown around the world, and they use the leaves and they may even use other parts or what have you, but we want to make sure that we get the most out of our bang for our buck, right? So similarly, the cannabis family of plants has numerous species: sativa, indica, marijuana, hemp. It's all under this family of plants, just like the moringa tree. Make sense?
It does make sense.
So hemp and marijuana are two very different plants. They're made for very different purposes. So in the United States in the early 1900s, the hemp plant was grown for multiple uses: rope, clothing, oil. It even lit, oils for lighting. It had uses for medicinal purposes. It was the hemp seeds were a great food source. Amazing amount of protein in hemp seeds. So, it had all these uses. Early 1900s being freely used for clothing. Do your homework, and I'll send you a link that'll show you some history, so I'm not totally lost my mind. And then you have the marijuana tree or plant that was grown in other parts of the world and being shipped in here for recreational use. So, clarify. Just like the moringa tree that has all these chemical constituents that make it this amazing product for consumption, the hemp plant has the same thing. It has all these chemical constituents that work with the endocannabinoid system in your brain and your body, and it has these benefits that interact with this system in your body in a fantastic way. Okay? Marijuana has high levels of THC and very low levels of cannabinoids, CBD particularly.
Okay.
Hemp has a really high, like 20 to 30% CBD and less than 0.1% or 0.3% of THC. So your body would have to consume anywhere between 15 to 20% THC to get that high.
Wow. Which is
so, I mean, that's huge, right? I mean, you'd have to have, I mean, the plant's designed for your body to interact with THC and CBD throughout your whole body. So high levels, like 15% or higher of THC, 15% would create this psychoactive effect. People enjoy it. It relaxes them. It has all these medicinal effects. Great. For purposes of legality and for those who drive truck for a living, you know, have really strict regulations at their companies, et cetera, which they should, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. So for drug testing purposes, you would have to consume a lot of the hemp-based THC, like marijuana is 400 to 600 times more THC than the hemp product. Does that make sense?
It does.
So
you would have to take a lot of it, like 400 to 600 times as much, in order to have it show up. And by then, you diluted it so much, you wouldn't even get high anyway. I mean, right?
Exactly.
Most people, if they want to get high, they're going to go take the marijuana plant. And if they want, if you just want the medicinal purposes, you're going to take it the way you should. And you'd have to take loads of it. You would be like flooded with it in order to actually have it show up in your bloodstream. Okay. That makes
exactly.
sense.
And I have, I can send you the links for that. You can post them in the comments there for people to read up and kind of get educated.
Okay.
So we started the conversation with, you know, there are CBD oils. Let's say they come in a bottle like this. Let's say this just as an example. Okay, it might come in a bottle like this, and it has a dropper. Like, you know, like you pull it out and it has a full dropper so that you can squeeze it out in unregulated type of drops.
Right.
Does that make sense? Okay. So patches are a whole different thing compared to liquid, and it's not easy to regulate how much you're getting in each drop that you might put under your tongue or what have you. So there's this concern that you're getting too much, right? So these articles and these studies were done to try and help people understand dosing and how much you would have to consume to test positive, among other things, for THC. Again, hemp has less than 0.03% of THC. The reason we need to keep it in there, though, is because it's got full spectrum medicinal benefits. But you only need a little for it to have the full spectrum of benefits, right? So similar to Marine Crucifera and our product, Supermix, let's use that as an example. We use the leaves, the seeds, and the fruit.
Yep.
Similarly, in the hemp product, they're using the parts of the tree that are the most beneficial, that have full spectrum benefits. We need all parts of that to get the best scientifically proven results medicinally.
Got
it. Did I just overwhelm you? I just sort of glazed over.
It makes sense. So even though there's this scare, because I mean, I grew up, I'm from South Carolina, right? And we're fairly conservative as a general rule, right? Not everybody, but a lot of us are.
Sure.
And there was always a scare about getting THC, and that's the thing that's in marijuana, and I could get a drug test. But what if I understood you right, we need to have a little bit of THC in the product so that we actually absorb the part that's actually making us feel better, and the cannabinoids, which is the medicinal part, and that actually reduces pain and reduces inflammation and makes you feel better. So in order to get get everything to absorb, you need a little bit of THC. Did I understand right? Or
you would get the most total benefits. Like, you don't have to have THC in order to get some medicinal benefits, because there are companies that isolate CBD completely and completely extract THC. But studies have shown, they call this an entourage effect. The whole plant extraction typically includes CBD and THC and more than 400 other trace compounds in hemp, okay? Wow. Many of those compounds interact synergistically to create what scientists would refer to as an entourage effect that magnifies the therapeutic benefits of the plant's individual compounds, so that the medicinal impact of the whole plant is greater than the sum of its parts.
Got it.
So if you it's better for us to have the full spectrum of what the plant can offer because it all works together. We'll use, okay, so a really good example to use would be acerola cherries.
Okay.
If you eat cherry, right, you eat the whole cherry, you're getting the full benefits of all the chemical compounds in that cherry for vitamin C.
Right.
Over the counter, they've isolated one piece of that, the acer piece of vitamin C. But in order for that vitamin C to not suck everything out of your bones to create all of the benefits of that over-the-counter isolated vitamin C, they pull it from the rest of your body.
Right.
That's because in order for it to work synergistically, it's got to have all these pieces. So the bottom line is hemp is naturally created and has all these synergistic chemical compounds that work together for the maximum amount of medicinal benefits. So you got to have a little bit of that THC to work synergistically with everything. But you don't have to have 15 to 20% to be medicinally valuable.
That
like
makes
you would.
sense.
Yeah.
And we keep hearing these things about your body recognizes vitamins, minerals, and all the other things that it needs if it comes together in a food source the way it grew naturally, the way God created it, right? The hemp plant comes up with everything it needs for your body to recognize, understand it, and use it in a way that makes you feel better without causing you to have negative brain, go crazier than I already am. So whether it's the moringa tree or cherries or the hemp plant, right, there's like good benefits for you, and getting the whole thing makes it better. And the patch helps.
Correct.
Also, because if you're using a patch a day and it slow releases over 24 hours and you got less than a fraction of a percent, you'd have to like cover your body in patches. You know what I mean? Pretty much.
Consistently over time.
Yeah.
So like if you were to do a drug test, they're looking for, it's the testing, and again, I'll send you this information so you have it. The process for testing for that and what they're looking for is a specific molecule made in THC that it has to be over a certain amount for it to trigger a test, and then they do another test to make sure that it's not a cannabinoid product. It's interesting. It's really interesting. So
really cool. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say what I'm excited about that the patch that's coming is, number one, it gives you all the medicinal benefits in a full synergistic way, but it releases it over time, so you don't have to worry about dosing. Remember what I mentioned. So if we had the dropper version like we do for our essential oils, when I drop an essential oil, I'm getting a fairly good amount there on my hand. If I were to use that the same way with a CBD oil, as potent as it is, it's not a regulated dose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Every drop of every essential oil, which the CBD oil is, comes out in a different amount. With the patch, it's dosed, it's regulated, and it releases over time. So my hope is that people who had the same concerns as you did and the same concerns I did, I just started doing research a few years ago because I needed to know more, because we have a lot of farms in our area, and I wanted to know the value of what hemp and marijuana was for our communities, and anyway, a whole different deal. But I got a little bit of an education, and now that there's these questions like, well, why do we have to have THC? Why do we have to have it? Because I wanted to know, like, really, why can't we just isolate it so we can just end this issue? Like, why can't we just not have it? But after reading these articles and scientific studies, is that you got to have it to have the full synergistic effect of what it can do for you medicinally. So I'm like, all right, fine. Okay. So I mean, there's a lot of oils out there that are not full spectrum. They're isolates. They take just one little chemical compound. They isolate that by itself, and while it has good medicinal benefits, it doesn't give you the full spectrum like our moringa product, moringa oleifera, and the way that Zija manufactures the leaves, seeds, and fruit, right? It's full spectrum. Mm-hmm. Here's the best thing. Imagine if you had lots of pain or chronic issues and you use Supermix and the CBD patch. Holy smokes. So you have two amazing plants that full spectrum, your body is gonna. I can't wait.
Thinking about copaiba too when you were talking about it, because beta caryophyllene. Yeah, there's more beta caryophyllene in copaiba than there is actually in the hemp plant.
Correct.
But your body's going to synergize each one of them differently, because the copaiba comes together as a plant, right, that works in one way. And it's almost like if you had pain, if you did the 3 of those, like it right.
Yeah, it would be insane for sure.
And it's all like completely natural. So.
Yep. And you're not going to, your body will only absorb as much as it can process.
Yeah.
So.
And then everything else, it's like the moringa, right? It's like, okay, well, I need more vitamin C today, right? Because I'm kind of fighting a cold and I did my flu bombs. I'm almost done. But it's crazy. You get around somebody, a sick kid or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, flu bomb, flu bomb, flu bomb. Second.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really neat. So anyway, I always learn every time I like get on these fun facts with you, and I just appreciate you so much. And I know you always
likewise. Well, you know, and that's what I generally try not to talk about something that I haven't looked into, but that doesn't mean that my research is exhaustive. There's a lot out there, so I would encourage anyone who really wants to validate this for themselves that they do their own homework. You can go to various different sites that use scientific evidence, and what I like about this particular site called Leafly, Leafly, brings up like the entourage effect I was just telling you about. They list all the scientific studies with their
great.
So they're not just because they're proponents of different product, they're giving you the facts. And there's a couple of places to really get some good information. Of course, the National Institute of Health has been studying cannabinoids and endocannabinoids since the early 80s. And so there's a lot of research available, and we're learning more and more every day. So I think, for what it's worth, the company that we represent has done their homework. For example, the triotic that we have, they picked the top 3 most beneficial, bacteria to help your gut health. Yep. If you research those 3 on the National Institute of Health, you'll learn that they are the most powerful. So our company does their homework. They do their research. They do all the back end stuff so we don't have to. But just in case you're like me and you really want to know from outside company source, do your homework.
That's wonderful. Seriously, I'm blown away. I'm like,
it's not to cut and paste all this to be something interesting, but
I can't wait to read all these articles. So send them to me, and I'll make sure they get attached, because I'll post this.
Okay, you got it.
Everybody can kind of see it. And I just appreciate you, and you have a beautiful day. And I'm sending a big hug. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye, sweetie.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.